Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and today we're going to try this extraordinary looking puzzle by Nityant Agarwal. I think this is Nityant's second puzzle on the channel. His first puzzle was the Indian Independence Sudoku. This one looks like a step up altogether in terms of complexity because, well, normally, if you go to Google and you type in arrow Sudoku, you will get a lot of puzzles that have either bigger arrows than this one has and or lots of given digits. Here, no given digits at all. And this might be tricky, I think. The rules of arrow Sudoku are incredibly simple. All we need to do is make sure that the circled cell is the sum of the digits along the arrow. So this square here has to be the sum of those 4. This one would have to be the sum of those 3, etc. And this is absolutely extraordinary that this has a unique solution. Anyway, this is the product of our Discord server. If you haven't checked it out yet, I really recommend it. It's a great community of puzzlers, and I'm sure many of you would enjoy everything that's going on over there. There are so many puzzles being created, tested, ideas shared. It really is a nice place to hang out. So the way to play, of course, is to click the link under the video as usual, and with that I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, well, I guess all we can really do here is to look. Well, we've got some arrows that are longer than others. We have, I think 4 is the longest length of arrow, which isn't normally, if you have an arrow of length 4, well, this arrow's not bad actually, because it's got three parts of it that are in the same box, and I know they have to all be different digits. So if I make those minimums of 1, 2 and 3, this would have to be at least 1, so this square has to be a 7, 8 or a 9. At least we get a pencil mark within the first couple of minutes. But you can see this one is less good. This one is less good because in theory I could put 3 1s on this arrow. There would be nothing to prevent that. 2, 3. So the only cells that are constrained along this arrow are these two. So 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 5. So this one has to be 5 or greater. This one's the same, 5 or greater. This is. I'm almost thinking that I'm being trolled here. Actually, What am I missing? How there are no more long arrows? Are there any? Are the circles aligned in some way here? Let's highlight all the circles and stare at them for a moment. No, I'm not. I mean, obviously these 3 have to be different digits, but I mean there is almost, other than noting that none of these cells can be 1 or 2, we don't get much out of that. I mean, this is weird. This is absolutely weird. This one, no. I mean, maybe I should be. I mean, I can see that has to be 4 or greater, but that does not seem to be. It hardly seems a restriction worth noting, to be honest. So can we? Is there a way of? For instance, obviously, if these are 1, 2, and 3, this square would have to be 4, I guess. Okay. So I'm now wondering whether the arrows combine somehow to restrict. So if those. The problem is I don't know how. If these were 1, 2, 3, and 4, I don't know how they. Where the 4 is, where the 1 is. Yeah, these arrows here all go through this box, so all of those squares would have to be different digits. Okay, so is this what we're meant to see? We're meant to appreciate perhaps that these these arrows, it's not fair to just treat them all as being possible. You know, if you make this add up to 5 by putting 3 1s, for example, I think this is the point. If you put 3 1s along this arrow, you now are restricted, because this arrow, in fact, that's interesting. That would actually break this arrow. This can't be a 1. Because this arrow now would have to have a minimum of 2, 3, 4 along those 3 squares, which add up to 9. This square would still have to be at least 1, and that would break. We can't put 10 into this cell. Ah, okay, right, sorry. Right, this is important. Yeah, so these arrows, they are connected to each other. So I'm actually going to highlight all the cells on the arrows. Let's highlight all of these cells and take a stare. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, I'm not sure. What I'm going to try and do is see if I put small digits, they're going to have to be small digits, into all of these squares. What can we eliminate? Well, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is the minimum here. 1, 2, 3, and 4 is the minimum here. Here, the minimum is 1 and 2. Although well, that's okay. That doesn't affect this 1, 2, 3, 4 option. This one, it can be 1 and 2. So we end up with 10, 26. Now we're starting. Now I'm starting to understand the puzzle. Okay, so if we put absolute minimum values into every single cell, then these 3 squares would sum to 26, which means they'd have to have 2 9s and an 8. So there's no way these can be 5, 6, and 7, and there's no way this can be 7. The other interesting thing about that is we've got 1 degree of freedom. There's no way any of these digits can increase in value by 2. Right, yeah, okay, so that means in this box we can't replace the 1 with a 5, for example, because that would use up lots of degrees of freedom. The only substitution we could do in this box, if we're not looking at bare minimums, would be to switch the 4 for the 5. So this box definitely has a 1. Oh goodness, definitely has a 1, 2, and 3 in these positions. The same is true of this box. Those squares have to include 1, 2, and 3. These 2 squares have to include 1, because if I switch this to a 2, 3 pair, obviously I've increased the total of the domino from 3 to 5, and that's too much. So there's a 1 in there, so there's no 1 in here. There must also be a 1 in one of those 2 squares. What a fascinating idea. Absolutely fascinating. Now I've got to be careful now. I mustn't read this as a 1, 2 pair, because it might not be. This could be a 1, 3 pair. I mustn't read this as a quadruple. So any logic I now do has to bear in mind that these are not actually candidates. These are minimum evaluations. Now this arrow is interesting though now. This arrow is interesting because yeah, it is interesting. Let's imagine this was a 1, 2 pair, just for a moment. Imagine this was a 1, 2 pair. What would this arrow total have to be? This is gorgeous. What would this arrow total have to be? Well, the minimum I could put in that square would be 3. The minimum I could put in those 2 squares would be 3 and 4. And 3 plus 7 is 10, and I can't put 10 in here. So actually, it's not possible for this to be 1 and 2. And that is going to break the puzzle open. Because there's 1 degree of freedom in all of these digits. So if this can't be 1, 2, it has to be 1 and 3. which means everything else is correct, which means this can't be 3. This is a 1-3 pair. So now this square's got to be 2 or 4. I'm not sure it can be. The minimum value in those two squares would be 6 now. So this can't be 4. So in fact this has to be 2. This has to be 2, which means this has to be 4. Wow. And it's possible, I suppose, that this could be 2 and 5. And then that would be 9. No, it's not possible. This is a brilliant puzzle. This is a brilliant puzzle. The reason it's not possible, of course, is that once I went from 1-2 to 1-3 in this domino, we now know that these cells along the arrows don't sum to 26, they sum to 27. So all these 3 squares are equal to 9. And therefore this can't be 9 and has to be 8, which means this has to be a 2-4 pair QED. This, I don't know anything about that arrow. I can remove 9 from it. Okay. So now this square can't be a 3 or a 4, can it? Because if I put 3 or 4 in here, I'd have to put 2 1s or 1 0 into there, so that's not going to work. So this is a 1 or a 2. If it's a 2, this is a 1-2 pair. If it's a 1, this is a 1-3 pair. So there's no 1 here now. This is a 1-2 pair in this one. So these two squares have to sum up to 6. So these do not include a 1 in either of these positions, I don't think, because I can't use a 5. If there's no 1 here, this square must be a 1 and this must be the 3. Therefore this is a 2. Oh my goodness. Am I actually going to... I might be able to disambiguate all of these options, I think, if I give it enough thought. Yeah, I can. So now I've got 6 along this 9 arrow, so this square's got to be a 3. Now I've got 1, 4, 1 along this arrow, so that's 5, 6. This has got to be a 3 to get to 9. Let's remove 3 and 4 from that one. Now, this 2 gives us the 2 and the 1 there. That gives us the 1 and the 4. That gives us the 4. I don't believe it. Oh, isn't that beautiful? So you can actually fill in the arrows. I'm quite proud of that, I have to say. Now, this cell, that's got to be at least equal to 5, look. Oh, hang on, this is going to be important because this has got to be at least equal to 3. And no, it can't be 3, there's 3 here. Whoa. So this has to be 4 and 5. It's the only way we can get this to be low enough to be a single digit number. So this is 4, this is 5, this is 9. This is not 4 anymore. I suspect this has to be much higher though, because what are the... Well, yeah, look, this square here has got to be... In fact, this is going to be troubling. I might have broken the puzzle. This has got to be at least 5. And this has got to be at least 1, 2... Oh, I can just do it. You can just put 1, 2 into these squares. With a 1 here, a 2 here. This is a 5. This is an 8. So this square has got a minimum value of 4 now. Not 5, 4. This square's got a minimum value of 2. So this square's got to be 6, 7 or 8 because it can't be 9. And if this is anything... So this square's 2, 3 or 5. It can't be 5. If it's 5, this has to be at least 4, and this would be 9, and it can't be 9. So this is just a 2 or a 3. This square, it could be 5, I think, or 6, or perhaps even 7. Oh no, 7 would need to lead to 9 again. So this is 4, 5, or 6. Okay. Okay, now is that useful? I'm wondering whether I'm meant to look at these arrows down here or do some Sudoku. I normally leave the Sudoku to the very last moment, but maybe I should. 6, 7, 8 triple there. Yeah, I should do some. Look, I've got a 1. Yeah, so where does 1 go in row 6 of the grid? That's been there for a while, actually, had I focused on it. It can only go there. These two squares have got to be a 3, 4 pair. Okay. Can we do any more Sudoku? Let's try and spot something. 2s, we've done quite a lot with 2s. It's got to be a 2 in one of these two squares. 2 in one of those 3 positions. 2 can't go there because we can't make those both 1. Yeah, I'm going to look at these arrows again now. So this square here has got to be 5, 6 or 7 just because of all of the digits looking at it. Look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 in the column, 8 in the row. So this is 5, 6, 7. This square has got to be 3, 4. Now, could it be? It could be 6, couldn't it? It could be 6 because that could be 1. And if this isn't 1, you have to put if this isn't 1, you have to put 5 in the cell because 2, 3, and 4 are unavailable. And if you put 5 in the cell, you get to at least 8, which is impossible here. So this is in fact 1. Which means that this square is 1 greater than whatever we put in this square. So this can't be 3. And this can't be 6 because I can't put 5 here. Okay, now this square needs to be at least 3, look. This square needs to be, so this digit could be a lot lower, I think. Because that could be a 2. That's a bit annoying. This square can't... Can this square be 9? I'd really like it not to be. Let's try and see if we can do stuff with 9s. Nine's got to be in one of those two squares. Yeah, look. These 9s and this 9 mean there is a 9 here. So 9 is in one of those two cells. So we can rule 9 out from this circle. So we've ruled out 9 and 8. It can't be 1, 2, 3 or 4. So this is 5, 6 or 7. So this can be 3, 4, 5. It can't be 6 because then I'd need a 1 here. So this has got to be 2, 3 or 4. It can't be 5 because then with a 3 here I crack that total. Oh, okay, 2, 3, 4 triple in this column, look. Can we do anything with that? Yes, we can. Good grief. Look, this is a 2, 3, 4 triple. Yes, where does 2 go in the bottom row of the grid? It can't go here. It can't go here because of the triple. Here because of this 2. Let me highlight all of this rationale. Here because of this 2. So 2 goes there. This is a 1. That fixes the 1 at the top. So now I still need to put 3 and 4. Yeah, this is, look, we can keep working on this. This is very clever. So we've got 2, 3, 4 here. Now I need to put 3 and 4 in this row. So where do they go? They can't go in this square. So this is a 3, 4 pair. This square's a 5, 6 or a 7. Oh, fours. Fours in this box are a little bit restricted. Look, by Sudoku, there's got to be a 4 in one of those two cells. 4 in one of these two cells. This column is a bit restricted. We still need 6, 7s and 8s into it. So I've got my 2, 3, 4 triple here. Is that meant to be, is that doing any more work than it's already done? It's already been prodigiously useful. I'm not sure. I feel like I've got to somehow use these arrows, because it's quite interesting. It feels as a constructor, what Nityant's probably done is he's built this beautiful beginning. So he would have got this pattern, and now he's got to put other arrows in, because these arrows did not affect this pattern at all. So these arrows are here, I think, to help us now. That relies on me being clever enough to realise in what way they're helping us now. Sorry, let me just think about this for a second. It would be very useful if I could limit 2 a bit more, actually. 2's got to be in one of those 2 squares. Ah, yes. Yes, I've got something. Let us now, if we focus on this triple again, if I make this square a 4, I give myself huge problems now, because I have to make those 2 squares 2 and 3. Yeah, this is good. This is good. You can see this 4 hits this square, so this square's best value is a 5. But once 2 and 3 are up here, this square's best value is a 4, and this absolutely busts our arrow here. So this is where we needed to look. I'm not sure if this is useful, but it does at least remove the 4 as an option from this square. So now this square can't be 6 anymore. And is that helpful? Might be. Maybe. So 4 in this... Ah, oh yes, it is helpful. Now where does 4 go in this box? Because of this 4, and the fact I can't put a 4 here, and this 4 is locked into the column, which means there's no 4 there. Which means I've got a 2-3 pair, and that means that's a 4. That's a 3. That's a 4 by Sudoku. Three has got to be in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. Again, that's these 3's interacting. There's got to be a 6 in one of those 2 squares, because we know this can't be a 6. That means there's no 6 in this square. It's got to be an 8 in one of those 2 squares. Now, what have I done for myself here? Have I really got this puzzle banged to rights? That's the question. So 4 now has to be in one of these 3 positions, I think, which is not fantastic. Six, 7, 7, 8. Oh dear. And it was going so well. 2, 3, 4. So this is 5, 6, 7. I'm actually wondering whether I'd be better off colouring sort of high squares and low squares here to try and get a handle on what's exactly possible and what isn't. It's, that's not 4 anymore, but that's sort of, that was already known. 5, 6, 7, 9. So is it this 2-3 pair? That feels like... Yeah, it is. It is. It's this square. This square can't be 3. It's actually pretty obvious once you look at it for a moment. But once this is 3, because this one now can't, it takes up the 4 in the box, that square can only be 5. And those two now add up to 8, which is impossible. Oh, thank goodness for that. I was worried I was going to be staring at that for some time. So that gives us 2, 3, 2 there. Do we not get more than that? Surely we do. Yeah, this square's got to be 8 now, because the best that can be is 5, or the lowest that can be is 5. So that creates a 3-4 pair here. This 8 gives us an 8 here. Let's try and do this in some sort of sensible order. This square's got to be 6 or 7. That means that square's not 5. Now, this square now can't be 7 anymore because this one can't be 5. So let's remove that and see if that helps us. Not quite. No, not quite. So I think we're slowly whittling this down, but we certainly are not done yet. We've got to put 8s into those two squares. 3-4 pair here. So in this column, we're still looking to place 6, 7, 8, and 9. There's got to be a 6 in one of those two squares because we know that this is not 6. There's got to be a 5 in one of these two squares. This is not rolling over at all. I think I might be missing something now. Maybe I'm overlooking something fairly simple, which I hate doing because I know I'll get grief for it in the comments. So... I'm wondering if I can get some sort of correspondence between maybe the 3s and the 4s now. Is that helpful? If this is 4, that puts 5 here, 7 here. That can still be 6, absolutely. That seems okay. No, I don't know. That's very odd. Maybe I've got to look for something more. That's not easy. I've just spotted something in row 1. Where's 8 go in row 1? It can only go there. Now that might be helpful, believe it or not, because now where does 8 go in this box? It can only go there. Now it just took the pencil mark of a 9, so trusting pencil marks, 9 goes here, 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 here. Oh, good grief. We've done the 9s off the back of that. That's definitely progress. We also, look, we get to place an 8 into this square, so I'm going to take that as well. 8 must be here in box 2, here in box 1, and the 8s are now finished. Where does 5 go? In row 3, it can only go there. Oh, and that's quite good. No, not quite. It's getting me into these cells down here, which is where I feel like I need to be. 6, 7 there. This is another 6, 7 pair. There's 6, 7 pairs all over the place. Ah, yeah, this 5. Where does 5 go in this box? Yes, it goes there. And once I get that, I know that, and I know that, and I know that, and I know that, and I know this. and the secrets of the world are revealed to me here. Now it's all stopped. 7 must go there. How do I do these 6, 7 pairs? With that one. 7, 6. Yes, I do. Look, 7, 6. 6, 7. 7, 6. 6. 2, 3. We still need to put 5 into this box. It's got to go there. We need to put 4 in the box. It's got to go there. 4 into this box. It's got to go there. These 2 squares here. My phone's buzzing at me. This is an amazing feat of concentration that I'm able to hopefully finish this puzzle. 3, 7 into these squares. Let's see if we can keep it going. 7, 5 into those squares. 5 goes here. 3 goes here. Let's take a quick look at this box. It looks like 6 and 7, surprisingly enough, are the final digits. 7, 6. Check. Yes! What a great puzzle. That was very difficult, but beautiful. The start was beautiful, and then figuring out how these little arrows around here worked out. I actually did some reasonable Sudoku, I think, today. Let me know in the comments what I missed. I always read them, and thanks for watching. I will be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.